everyone, welcome to this 60-minute yoga flow class. My name is Julie Shane and I'm here with yoginiology.com. So this class is kind of like a chill out yoga flow class. So my practice for several years was a very vigorous, I would come to the mat in order to sweat and to work out and to achieve these exterior kind of superficial things, which isn't necessarily a bad thing at all. But I found that I like to do those things off my mat or not in a yoga form. And my yoga practice to me has become this way to just chill out, to relax, to have time to myself, and to kind of remember that there's a sacred spot within me. So this flow class is going to be a little slower than what I usually teach, a little more relaxed, but I want you to approach it, if that's a different style of yoga for you, with a very open mind. And the idea behind this is to generate space, both physically in our bodies. We're going to work from head to toe, trying to get more space in the body, but then also mentally. So we're going to switch up some habits that we tend to do when we get here on the mat and try to create space by making things a little different than what we normally did, and just proving that things are always constantly in a state of flux and they're always changing. And so by just embracing that and accepting that and getting into the middle of the change, you can kind of push your way around and find a little bit more space so that you're a little bit more at ease. So the only prop we're going to be using today is a block. If you don't have one, it's not the end of the world. We can do the poses at the end without a block too. So we're going to start in a nice little yin posture. We won't hold it for as long as we normally would in a yin class. But you're going to come down on your stomach. You're going to get your elbows to come underneath the shoulders. Legs can do whatever is comfortable. You'll take the hands together and bring the edge of your pinky down on the floor. So this looks like Sphinx pose, but rather than pushing into the forearms, I want you to play with just completely letting go in the shoulders. So there can be a little bit of resistance through the arms. There can be none. Just kind of see what feels okay with you. And once you find a comfortable spot here, go ahead and close your eyes. Bring your awareness inward. Start to understand the space that you are starting with. What is your starting point? Both physically and emotionally. Get to know your boundaries or the ones that you currently have in place. Maybe with a few exhales, you can settle into the pose a little more. We're really just using the bones here. There's not so much of a muscular engagement. And with the hands in prayer, it's almost just asking for us to bring in an intention, to bring in something that is higher and greater than us. So whatever that might be for you, it might be your reason for being here on the mat today, it might be a dedication, it might be a simple mantra. But with the next few breaths here, go ahead and invite that into your heart center and allow that to be the seed that you plant today, that throughout the next 60 minutes will grow and create more and more space. We're going to come into our next pose. I want you to take your left hand out to the side, palm face down. Bring your right hand by your chest, and you're just going to roll and lean into the left shoulder. You can let the head relax on the floor. If you have a block handy, you can prop your head, or if you need to, just hold it. You just want to be careful listening to the body. It can be easy to go too deep too quickly into this. So stop when you start to feel sensation. And then with an exhale, go ahead and return to center. Switch sides, right hand comes out, palm face down. Let the left hand help roll you to the side. You don't have to bring your left leg back. For some of you, you can if you're going over a little further. Also a nice little gentle twist you can start to feel maybe in the back. So just getting right into opening up some typically neglected spaces. And then exhale, go ahead and roll yourself back up through center. You're going to bring your hands by your chest, squeeze the elbows in like you're coming into cobra, but I want it to be a super mild one. So I want you to actually engage your glutes, squeeze the elbows in, push into the hands, just kind of feel it out, maybe roll the neck around a few times. Or just find some movement. And then with your next breath, go ahead and bring yourself back into child's pose. So hips to the heels if you can, forehead to the ground. Tip of the nose should be touching the mat. That's how you know you're right on the third eye. And then go ahead and bring the hands in prayer. Let them rest at the base of your skull or right at the nape of your neck. Invite in once again that intention, the dedication, the mantra. Just let that kind of echo throughout your practice today. And then go ahead and release the hands down. We're going to start to bring ourselves up into kneeling. So I really have been liking this ankle stretch lately. So you can give it a try if it's okay for your knees. So we're going to sit down kneeling, but rather than letting the ankles fall apart and the heels fall apart like normal, try to keep your heels touching. You can kind of hold them together as you start to sit back. And you can kind of like wedge them in the middle of your butt and they'll kind of stay in between the sit bones. But you can get a really nice ankle stretch through the outer portions of the ankles. I'm going to turn here so you can see. So we're going to work on bringing a little bit of energy into the wrists and the fingers. Again, another neglected space. So this morning when I was teaching a similar class to this, one of my students was talking about how the wrists and the hands kind of represent clinging, right? And so by being able to create more space, a contingency of that is letting go. And so being able to let go of what we're clinging to can give us the freedom to grow a little bigger. So it's symbolic both in that way, but it's also a really nice way to actually create space in an area that we use a lot, but we don't tend to take care of too much. So you're going to take your hands out to the sides and you're going to start to flick the fingers really hard. And as you flick, you're going to bring them up. And then as you exhale, flick them down. And it starts out feeling pretty simple, but for most everyone I've ever done this with, pretty quickly, fingers start to feel fatigued, your hands and your wrists. It's a really nice way to strengthen the forearm, to strengthen the wrists, to energize the fingers, and then to symbolically kind of flick away stuff we're holding on to, ridding ourselves of that negativity or just the desire to prevent change, right? The desire to stay stagnant. Oh, it gets intense so quick. My heavens. 2 more. Woo! Okay, go ahead and bring the hands up. Interlace the fingers, push the palms up towards the ceiling. Move the arm bones back as you draw the chin in towards the chest. Take a big breath in. And then take the hands and release them opposite way behind you. Stretch the arms back, lift the heart up. Open the throat too here. Inhale. Nice. Exhale, release. So we're going to take the wrists together and to bring the heels of the hands together. So it kind of looks like lotus mudra, right? But you're going to separate everything. And then you're just going to roll the hands forward and back. And you're trying to keep the wrists touching at all times. So this is super therapeutic for the wrists. And just a nice way to bring a little bit of fluidity into our practice. We tend to kind of stay in a linear box when we practice traditional yoga. So just little things like this, maybe different than what you normally do, switch directions. Again, just getting outside of those mental ruts, the samskaras that we have can be so beneficial, because as you get off of that, you realize, oh, there's a whole new world, right, out here, like Aladdin. And yeah, it can just be very freeing. Okay, shake it out. Go ahead and head to all fours. See how your ankles feel, right? We're stretching those too, so they should feel like a little more space there as well. So go ahead and set up at your tabletop. We're just going to go right into a cat-cow, moving with the breath. And I always like to instruct people to move as they feel is right. So if it feels good to kind of sway or move around, it's like cat-cow idea. But if you ever watch I've never seen a cow stretch, but I've seen a cat stretch. And they don't, they go like this and they go here, but then they're moving around to kind of bring out that animalistic quality. Don't worry about what you look like, because most likely you're doing this at home in the privacy of your home. So don't even worry. Just move around. But stay mindful of the breath, right? And then when you're ready, when you've shaken around enough, go ahead and head into downward facing dog, spreading your fingers wide. Index fingers typically in line with the long edges of the mat. But again here, bend the knees, shake it out. Do something that you don't normally do when you come into this pose, just for fun today. Right, just in the sake of creating mental space for yourself and maybe finding some more physical space for yourself as well. Do something different. Play with your feet. Break the rules. See what happens. With an inhale, go ahead and rock forward to plank pose. And then we'll do a nice slow chaturanga. You can drop your knees down. Try to keep the elbows in close. Go down as slow as you can today. All the way to your chest. Take the tops of the feet to the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale up, cobra. So you exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale. Exhale, back. Child's pose. Hands in prayer. Base of your neck, evaluate. Call in the breath. And then go ahead and start to stretch the hands out in front of you. Get as much traction in the spine as you can. And then begin to walk the hands over to the right. Stack your left hand on top. Breathe nice and deep into the left side body. Just feel all of that space you're creating. And then start to walk your hands back through center, over to the left. Right hand stacks on top. Right into the right armpit and down into the ribs. Wherever you're feeling sensation, breathe into that. See if you can expand even more there by adding the breath. And then go ahead and come back up. All fours, and then as you exhale, back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Go ahead and look between your hands. We're going to send the right foot forward. Step it between the hands. I want you to bend your left knee. Get the right knee right over the ankle, and the left knee is just hovering over the ground. And then as you inhale, go ahead and sweep the arms up. Feel your glutes maybe engage a little bit more here. And then I want you to take the left wrist into the right hand, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, bend to the right. Let the legs be buoyant. Exhale, release the hands down to the ground. Keep the back leg bent as you start to straighten the right leg. You can even flex the right toes, and then rather than rounding the back, kind of like that cat feel, I want you to extend the chest forward, pull the belly in, and kind of go. And you can move here, right? You don't have to be static. With the back knee bent, you have the ability to rock back and forth a little bit more, to move the hips a little bit more as you get this hamstring stretch. And if you're still finding it hard to have the mobility in the upper back, you can always grab your block and you're able to generate a little more space by having that height there. So don't be afraid to use the block if you have one nearby for that purpose. Good. And then go ahead and bend the right knee, set the left knee down, turn on the left knee, so you're pivoting that back leg so that the shin is now parallel with the short edge of your mat. Extend the right leg out to the side. Start to slide the right hand down and reach the left arm up and over. Good. And then let the butt kind of start to stick out. Bring the hands down, chin in towards the chest. And then start to walk the hands back towards the front of the mat. Redo the back leg. Rock back up. Reposition, right? Back left knee bent. Inhale, come up into that high lunge with the bent back knee. Inhale, start to straighten the front leg. Drop down onto the left heel. Turn the right toes around. Take the hands to the waist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Squeeze the inner ankles towards each other, chin in towards the chest. Think about how you're creating space in this pose. So rather than thinking about, oh, is my alignment perfect, or what muscles am I engaging, or what some of those typical things we tend to think about here, just think about, where does it feel like you're creating space? Where does it feel like you could create more space? And let the next few breaths just be kind of your exploration of those things. Inhale, come up halfway, turn the right toes, pivot, 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 plant the hands, downward facing dog. And inhale, forward plank pose. Exhale, super duper slow chaturanga. Drop the knees if you'd like. Inhale, cobra. Shoulders back. Move them away from your ears. Squeeze the elbows in. Inhale. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, look at your left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, child pose, hands in prayer. Bring them back. And release the hands down, back up to all fours as you inhale. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, look between your hands. Go ahead and step the left foot forward. And then the left knee right over the ankle. Inhale, come up to your high lunge, bend the back knee. Let there be a little bit more space, right? And then take the right hand or the right wrist into the left hand. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, bend to the left. Breathe into the space. Can you create more? Think about abundance, right? There's always enough. You think there isn't more, there's always a little more. Breathe in. And inhale, come back up. Take the hands down to the ground, either side of the front foot. Start to straighten the left leg, but keep the back right leg bent. Try to reach the heart forward, maybe flex the left toes towards the face. And then play with some movement here if you'd like. Let that back knee bring a little more space. Both hands wouldn't have to be down, right? I'm lifting the left hand up. That would be fine. Hands to a block. Keep trying to reach the heart forward. And then bend the left knee. Set the right knee down. Turn and pivot the right leg. so that the shin becomes parallel with the short edge. Extend the left leg out. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale. Left hand to the left shin. Right arm reaches up and over. And then exhale. Hands down, butt back. Stretch out. Start to walk the hands forward, pivot the back foot. Find that high lunge with the bent back knee again. Inhale, come on up. Drop the right heel down, straighten the left, parallel the feet, hands to the hips. Inhale, lift up out of the waist, and then exhale, tilt the hips, fold forward. Inner ankles squeeze towards each other just for support. Where's the space? What can you do to find more? Don't feel like you're obligated to stick within the rigidity of your old ways of thinking. Try to find something new, something you can get curious about. And then start to walk your hands back towards the top of the mat. Plant the hands. Downward facing dog. Go ahead and take the feet the width of the mat. Try this big wide down dog. See how that feels. And you generate a little more space by doing that. And go ahead and step your right foot halfway up the mat. Come onto the outer edge of the right foot. Nope. Outer edge of the left foot. Turn your right toes to the right. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. And then reach the right arm over the ear. Lift the hips up. You could stay here. You have the option of stacking the feet. Exhale. Bring the hands down. Float the right knee up between your thumbs. Setting up for an easy pigeon pose. So I like to keep the heel in really close to me so as not to strain my knee, but set up how you like it best. Walk the hands back for just a moment. Let the hips find some evenness as they start to settle in. And then exhale. Fold over the leg. And you can twist here. You can use a block on your head. You could support your head with your hands. Maybe your head can go down to the ground. See if you can find a little more space in the hips. I'm sure most of you have heard it before, but the hips are where we store a lot of our emotional intelligence and our emotional wounds in the hips. And so, but when we get into them, it can cause an immediate either release, and it can feel great, or it can cause kind of the backlash of that, like the knee-jerk response of, nope, I don't want that. And so it can be kind of this ever-going battle of releasing the hips, releasing the jaw, and then doing it again and again. But as you start to find space in the hips physically, you start to generate some more space emotionally. You can begin to find some support. Begin to find some sort of stability here. With your next inhale, go ahead and start to bring yourself up. We're going to start to bend the left knee, and you're going to slide the right foot to the left so that the knees cross. We're going to come into Gomukhasana. So with the knees crossed, you're going to come and sit down between the heels. If this is too much on your knees, you can flip this over and lie down on your back, and then that will take some of the weight off the knees, and it'll just be the same shape, right? Try to get both sit bones down. I know one tends to want to float. Then I want you to take your hands, especially your thumbs, to that belly of your foot and kind of right at the base of the big toe. Just give yourself a little bit of a foot massage here, right? So really dig in, move the toes around. Give your feet some love, just like we gave the hands some love at the beginning of class. Use our hands and feet. I mean, how many times, like all day, every day? And yet we come to yoga and we think, stretch hamstrings, which is good. But feet and hands deserve some love too. The best thing about it, there's really no wrong way, right? Just kind of use your intuition, what feels good. Chances are, I mean, you can't really do anything damaging. Nice. Exhale, you're going to keep the knees as they are, start to rock forward. We'll come into what my friend Lana came up with in class one day, puppy cow pose. So the legs are still in cow, but then the rest of you is going to come into this kind of puppy posture. We're just trying to create more space at the back of the heart. And then with an inhale, start to bring yourself up. You're going to keep the legs crossed, tuck the toes. We're actually going to come back into a cross-legged downward facing dog. So again, doing things kind of unusually to see if we can generate some more space in our practice today. Keeping the legs crossed, inhale forward to plank. We're going to keep the legs crossed, exhale, lower all the way to the ground. Good. Now go ahead and uncross the legs. Inhale, up, cobra. Exhale, just touch back child's pose, hands in prayer, call in your intention. And then inhale back up to all fours. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and step the left foot halfway up the mat. Come to the outer edge of the right foot, turn the left toes. Inhale, sweep the left arm up. And then reach it over the ears. You exhale, trying to lift the hips up and just feel that space you're physically creating right there by the ribs. You could stay here, or left foot stacks on top, lift the hips up. And then bring the left hand down, slide the left knee between the thumbs, settle on in to our little pigeon, shoulders back, chest up. And if you really feel like one hip is a lot lower than the other, you could grab a blanket or a pillow, kind of prop up your other one so that they become level. Once you feel like they're pretty level, go ahead and start to make your way down. Again, go slow, right? Just because you know you can go deeper, if that's your case. Doesn't mean you have to go there right away. There can be a lot learned kind of on the way down. And then just play around. Right? I think our yoga practice is meant to be very spiritual, and it's meant to be this, path towards self-transformation. But if we take it too seriously and we try to play by all of the rules, you're not really finding your practice, and I think we're hindering ourselves from really, enjoying it the way that we're supposed to. Right? Sacred and spiritual doesn't mean that it can't be fun and curious and unique to yourself. When you're ready, go ahead and start to bring yourself up. Tuck the back toes, start to bend the back knee, and then slide the left in front of the right, coming into our cow face pose on the other side. So you'll sit down between the heels, and if you don't want to flip it over on your back, but maybe you can't get the hips down right, you can sit on the block, a pillow or a bolster, and kind of boost yourself up. But if you're feeling any pulling or tugging or discomfort in the knees, just go down. You can still get in your foot massage. You can still get the nice outer hip opener, and you're not, and torturing yourself, or maybe even injuring yourself. Let's go ahead and get on into the feet. Show them some love here. I had a reflexology treatment done on my feet last Friday. It was amazing. I mean, it was 30 minutes, but had it been 5 hours, I would have laid there. But now it's like my feet just want to be touched all the time. They're just like, touch me. So I think you forget about it, and then you kind of wake them up with something like this, and then suddenly they start talking to you a lot more. Like, remember me down here? Please massage me. Puppy cow. Legs stay like this, hips come up. Kind of stack your hips over the knees like you would for puppy pose. Start to extend the arms out. Bow the head. Heart falls down towards the mat. Maybe the forehead touches. Once again, rather than me telling you where you're feeling space, I want you to explore that. Where do you feel it? Where is this pose impacting you both physically and mentally? There's no right or wrong, and then there's no bad or good. When you're ready, come on up. Keep the legs crossed. Tuck the toes. Cross-legged Adho Mukha. Inhale, forward. Cross-legged plank. Exhale, cross-legged chaturanga to the ground. Uncross the legs. Inhale up. Cobra. Exhale. Touch back in child's pose. Hands in prayer. Inhale forward to plank pose. Tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog. Go ahead and bring the inner edges of your feet together. Start lifting the right heel up, and then take the ankle in circles. A few times each direction. And then bend the knee, take the knee in circles. A few times each direction. And then draw the knee in towards the nose. Try to lift the heel up as high as you can as you shift your shoulders over the wrists. And then as lightly as you can, set the right foot down between the hands. Go ahead and drop the left heel down. We're going to come into Warrior Two. But then I want you to put a little bend in your back knee. So don't straighten the back leg completely. Let your butt kind of stick out. Arms strong. And see if you can move the hips apart a little more by letting the butt come out and by bending your back knee a little bit. Inhale, start to straighten the right leg, straighten the left leg, but keep the butt sticking out. Reach forward, right hand to the shin, start there, left hand comes up, right? I want you to feel the space in your torso, and remember we're trying to make two even lines, right and left. So you don't want to come into a position like this, or like this, where one side's getting all the stretch and the other side's missing out. So hand could even be on the thigh, right? But keep, as the hand moves down, if it does, noticing when you start to feel like you're losing space, and then don't bother going there, because this is all about creating space, right? Open the heart. Push through the ball of the foot. If your head and your neck start to get tired looking up, which often happens, you can take the head and look down. Then I want everyone to take the left hand, bring it behind you, either tuck it in the top of your waistband or bring it all the way around to your right thigh. Maybe look up again, just play with the neck. See what feels the best. Good. Start to bend the right knee, take the right forearm to the thigh, keep rolling the chest up and back. And take the right hand inside the foot or onto a block. Extend the left arm up and over the ear. And then go ahead and kind of roll yourself down, let the hips go back. Stack the right hand on top of the left. Lean your hips back as the hands go forward. Go ahead and bring the hands back towards the top of the mat. Lift the left heel up. Swing the right leg back, 3-leg down dog. Bend the right knee, let the foot start to fall to the left. You look under the right arm. You might stay there, keeping the left leg straight. You come onto the outer edge of the left foot, lightly touch the right toes behind you, hips lift up, heart lifts up. Loud thing. Exhale, circle back, down dog. Bend the knees, bounce up and down a few times. Straighten it out, inner edges of the feet together, left foot goes up. Take the ankle in circles. Then bend the knee, take the hip in circles. Both directions. Then start to pull the knee in towards the nose. Lift it as high as you can. Keep the heel and hip or shoulders shift over the wrists. Lift it high, and then see if you can lightly set the left foot down. Drop the right heel down, come into your warrior two, like you traditionally would. But then, I know it feels funny, but bend the back knee. Stick the booty out, so rather than trying to tuck the tailbone, let the butt stick out. Can you move the left knee to the left? Start to feel the right hip open too. Totally looks different. I feel it a lot more in my hips, and it feels so much more free in my low back here. Right? And then slowly start to straighten the left leg. Start to straighten the right leg. Keep the butt out. Reach forward. Utthita Trikonasana with space. Right? Legs are strong, but engaged. You're not just locking out the knees. You're using the muscles, and you're thinking about rolling the right shoulder back. Trying to keep two equal lines as much as you can. Maybe look down. Take the right hand behind you, tuck it into the waistband, or bring it to the left. Roll the right shoulder back. And then start to bend the left knee. Bring the left forearm to the thigh. And then start to reach the right arm up and over. Drop the left hand down, keep reaching. Exhale, hands down to the ground, left hand stacks on top, walk the hands forward, let the butt stick out. What kind of space are you generating here? Where do you feel this? Take note of that. And then start to walk your hands back to the top of the mat. Swing the left leg back, 3-leg down dog. Bend the left knee, let the foot start to fall to the right. Maybe come onto the outer edge of the left foot. Keep the right leg straight. Hips lift up. You reach back. Heart's moving forward towards the top of your mat. Exhale back. Downward facing dog. So you inhale, start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Grab opposite elbows. Keep your feet a little ways apart, like hip width apart. Grab opposite elbows, chin in towards the chest, dangle. Sway. Bend the knees, do the same thing. Then take your hands behind the legs, grab opposite elbows. Keep the knees bent, pull in. Let the chin come to the chest. And then release the hands down, turn the toes out. We'll come into Malasana. Drop the hips down, elbows in front of the shins, hands to the heart. When I think of space, this pose just comes to mind always. Just feels spacious everywhere. Even though you look so compact, right? Everything isn't always what it seems. Find a little more space. Last few breaths here. Then interlace the fingers, push the hands forward, chin in towards the chest, reach out. And then bring the hands back down to the ground, downward facing dog. And again, bring the inner edges of the feet together, lift the right heel up. And then go ahead and step the right foot outside the right hand. So we'll come into our lizard pose or lizard lunge. So a nice big hip opener. Back knee can stay up. You could totally drop it down. You could stay on the hands. You might come to the forearms. You could do forearms on the block. Wherever you are, breathe. If you start to sense your jaw getting tight, you've probably gone a little bit too far if you can't relax it, so maybe back off a little bit. Let the head just hang or support it, whatever feels best for your neck. So you're cool to just hang here. You might come back up onto the hands, walk the left hand forward. We could come into a little twist here. Reach the right arm back, reach for the left foot. Let the hips fall forward, pull the right shoulder back like we've been working on. And just open the heart up. And you get a nice little quad opener here too. Exhale if the back foot was up. Go ahead and release it down. You're going to bring the hands back under your shoulders. And then once again, we're going to cross the right knee in front of the left. Sit down like you'd come into Gomukhasana, but then let the right knee come up. So we're coming into a twist instead. Super important, even more important now that we're twisting, to get both sit bones down. So if you can't get that right sit bone down, extend the left leg out straight and both sit bones are down. So don't worry about the tucking of the leg if it means you're compromising getting both sit bones down, because we want a really stable back as we twist, okay? So go ahead and bring the right hand behind you for support. You can either hug the knee in as you twist your mid and upper back, or bring the left elbow in front of the right knee and twist and lift back. So the twist is coming from behind the ribs and up through the shoulders. And then exhale, go ahead and release. Come into the counter twist, hands to the left, bend the elbows, lower down. Inhale, bring yourself back up. Crawl the hands forward. Cross-legged, downward facing dog. Keep the legs crossed, start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Fold with legs crossed. Then inhale, bring the arms up. Grab onto the left wrist. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bend to the right. Maybe come forward a little bit until you feel that maximum stretch through the left side. And then kind of twist your way back down. Crawl the hands forward. Undo the feet. Downward facing dog. Bring the inner edges of the feet together. Go ahead and lift the left foot up. And then step the left foot outside the left hand. Prepping for a lizard pose on this side. Maybe back knee down, maybe back knee up. I say it again because both sides are different, so don't automatically assume that what you did on the other side is right for this side. So take your time getting into it. Use props. Be mindful of what your body's saying. Don't push it just to push it. You're not going to find space. You'll break things, right? So if you think about wanting to stretch something out, you normally have to go slow. You have to know its boundaries. Otherwise, it'll tear, rip, or it'll get destroyed. So think about that as we move into the body. And then just as we did on the other side, for some of you, staying here is going to feel the best. For those of you that want to add that little twist, you can come back onto the hands, reach the left arm back, see if you can find the foot, heart comes up, hips go forward, heel pulls in, so you're really getting a lot of things out of this pose. It's a quad stretch, it's a hip opener, it's a heart opener, it's a twist. Once again, bring your attention to where the space is being made in your body. Where I feel it in my body may not be where you feel the space being generated. So breathe into that spot. And see if as you bring a slow and gentle breath in, can you grow that space? Go ahead and release the back foot. If you are still down on the forearms, go ahead and come back up. Cross the left leg in front of the right, like you're going back to Gomukhasana, but then the left knee come up. Come into our twist. Think about your sit bones. If one is up, don't compromise your low back just to bend your knees. Right? Extend the bottom leg. Go ahead and take your left hand behind you. That's just going to help to support the back. Hug in the leg or elbow in front. So same principles apply when we're thinking about creating more space mentally or emotionally. You can't just charge your way through or you're going to break stuff. You have to know the boundaries. You have to know what you're working with, what material you're working with. And then very slowly, very compassionately and mindfully, you can start to stretch things out. And it can take a long time. You have to be patient depending on what you're working with, right? We all have different materials. Exhale, release into the counter twist, elbows up, forehead down. And then start to walk the hands forward. Cross leg, downward facing dog. Keeping the legs crossed, walk the hands back. Inhale, go ahead and come on up. Grab your opposite wrist, exhale, bend to the side. I forgot which side we did before. Do your other one. And this one's better. And then exhale. Reach the hands down, walk forward, last downward facing dog. Go crazy here, bend the knees, shake it out. What can you do to find space? There are no rules. Take a few breaths to just move around, explore. Again, try something you've never tried before and see how it feels. And then drop the knees down. Go ahead and come back to sit. So we're going to lie down on our back. If you have a block handy, go ahead and bring it next to you so you can grab it as you're lying down. If not, you can just use your hands to support yourself instead of the block. Or you can do it just with your legs, which you'll see here. So there's a couple of like chiller versions of these poses where we'll use the block. But if you don't have one, it's fine. So go ahead and lie down. Just start to take a moment hugging the knees into the chest. And then go ahead and straighten the legs. Interlace the hands behind the legs so they have some support. Separate the feet a little bit. And then just kind of point and flex the feet. And as you do this, think about letting the lower back relax into the ground. Letting the femur bones descend into the hip sockets. Go ahead and set the feet down. So we're going to set up for supported bridge pose or just bridge pose or supported bridge pose with your hands. So you want your feet hip bone width apart, your heels right under the knees in line with your hips. If you have knee issues, you can walk the feet a little further forward and it'll take a little bit of the pressure off the knees. So you're going to push into the inner edges of the feet and start to lift the hips up. If you have your block, you're going to keep it at this medium hip width. And you're going to keep it at this medium height. And you're going to bring it right kind of at the top of the glutes and relax onto the block. Of course, if you don't have a block, you could just hold yourself here or see if you can kind of walk your elbows underneath you and support yourself with your hands here. So 3 different options. Choose the one that is to your liking or to your, whatever you have on hand. See if you can tuck the shoulders under you a little bit more. Let the elbows bend slightly, palms face up. Speaking of chill, my dog Watson is the chillest basset hound in the world. I love him so much. He's almost like a non-dog because he's just so relaxed. He just sleeps and does what he wants. I forgot to put him outside. So you can stay here. This pose feels really, really nice, but I love to turn this into either a shoulder stand or a supported shoulder stand. So if you happen to have the block under you, you can hold on to the bottom 4 corners and just start to lift the feet up. Extend the legs straight. When the legs go up, if you want to draw energy up too to kind of like vitalize things, you can do what I call Barbie foot, or what lots of people call Barbie foot. You can point the feet and then flex the toes back. And that's just a nice way to make this not like dead energy up here, right? If you don't have a block, but you had your hands underneath you, right, you could do kind of the same thing here with your hands under you. Or you could come up into your full shoulder stand here. Just be very mindful of the neck. We didn't set up with blankets or anything, so I wouldn't stay here too long, just because you want to make sure that you're not putting any undue pressure or unneeded pressure on the neck. You come back into plow pose, and then when you're ready, just go ahead and release down, letting the feet go wide, knees fall together, and then we'll rest. So I'll wait. You are still up in the posture, and we'll all just meet down, feet wide, knees together. And then you can start to windshield wiper the legs back and forth. And I really want you to take a couple minutes to listen to what the practice that you've just done has done to your body, and begin to explore some ideas, some final ways of creating space in your body based on what you need specifically. So it could be a yoga pose. It totally doesn't have to be, so don't confine yourself into thinking that these movements need to have like a Sanskrit name behind them. They don't. I think yoga is a really nice way to help kind of increase our ability to be intuitive and to learn how to trust ourselves, but only if we give ourselves permission to do things like this. If all we do is listen to what other people are telling us and we never really get a chance to explore, then you're doing good for the body, so it's not that it's bad, but you're missing out on a really cool element of your practice, which is, learning about yourself. It really is a road to your highest being. When you're ready, we'll head into Shavasana, corpse pose, lying flat on the back, feet wide, toes falling out, arms wide, elbows bent. You could put a rolled up bolster or pillow underneath the knees if you feel pulling on the low back, or you could also just bend the knees. You, of course, could take this lying on your stomach or on your side. And move the shoulders away from the ears. Tuck the shoulder blades under you a little bit. So that simple action can kick in our parasympathetic nervous system a little more. And then starting from one end of your body and working your way to the opposite. Just feel each individual body part as you kind of give yourself a scan. So you do it like you would, taking results of a science experiment. What happened here? What happened here? You're interested, but you're not clinging to a desired outcome. And then once you've physically finished scanning your body, I want you to try to let this become a Shavasana for your mind. So it's symbolic, right? We come into corpse pose and our body is pretending to be dead, although we are very much alive. So the brain is pretending to be quiet, although it is very much busy. Let the breath just wash over you like a wave. And it comes and it goes, and you're feeling yourself. Just relax, letting your back body grow heavier and heavier, finding yourself just resting almost in this hammock-like position. If you're able to spend more time here, please spend more time here. Right? There's no such thing as a too long of a Shavasana. But if you're needing to get going, still come out of this pose very mindfully, moving the fingers and the toes slow, starting to deepen the breath, letting those movements grow and grow. Maybe even yawning, stretching. And then in whatever way is most comfortable and easiest for you, go ahead and bring yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Once you're seated, close your eyes. Go ahead and bring your hands together in prayer position, but we're going to briefly stop in Lotus Mudra. So you're going to keep the thumbs, the pinkies, and the heel of your hand together, and then release your other 6 fingers. And then just lift this mudra up to your third eye. So the lotus is such a beautiful reminder of taking something that looks like it's impossible, dark, muddy, murky water, and growing a beautiful life out of it. So when you start to feel like there isn't enough space, when you start to feel like your life is becoming dark and encapsulating and almost claustrophobic, just remember that out of that, something beautiful can come. So just keep being gentle with yourself, kind with yourself. Keep tapping into the intuition that we all have. Keep tapping into your intuition and let it guide you through your practice. May your practice be one that's filled with peace and with spaciousness and with something called onto the mat that is higher and greater than yourself. Go ahead and close the hands into prayer position. Bring the thumbs to your heart center. Bow the head slightly. Thank yourself for making time to practice today. Go ahead and open your eyes. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I look forward to getting in touch with all of you on yoginiology.com. So head over there, sign up for our newsletter and sign up for more classes. And just, reach out to me. I'm always ready to talk yoga and talk life. So I'd love to meet all of you. Introduce yourself to me, either here on YouTube or anywhere in where I am living online. And have a great day. Bye.